Hello, everybody. Welcome along. It is predictions time, but slightly abridged predictions for the Premier League this weekend. Mikey, why is there only 5 games?
Hello, Ben. So this is the sort of mid-season mini break where after playing 8 games in 12
Mini
days, you get
retirement.
it's a Gary Neville winter break. This so
Why,
each
why
each
on
each team
earth
gets the
does the
weekend off.
Premier League get a break when they play 38 games and the EFL doesn't when they get 46? That's mental.
Yeah, it's a good question, Ben. But yeah, maybe the Championship will eventually follow suit as well. But yeah, this enables teams to have a little bit of a break and get some players back from injury, and also we have the AFCON and the Asia Cup as well, causing a little bit of extra chaos.
Joy. Okay, well, what it does mean is we could do a longer intro just like that and talk a little bit longer about each of the games. So we will go through all 5 of the games on this half of a round. We'll call it round 21. Should we call it round 21A, Mike? And then we'll call
21A, yeah.
we'll call
And
it round
although
21.
there's only 5 games, they're 5 good ones, Ben.
Oh,
They're,
he's gone into
they're
salesman mode, and I'm absolutely here for it. Well, let's start off then with a very interesting one for me with my championship hat on. Burnley versus Luton. So the runaway championship winners last year versus the playoff winners. What have you got to say about the current form of these two, Mikey?
Yeah, you don't need me to tell you, Ben, that this is a huge game for both teams. It definitely feels like a must win for Burnley if they're going to have any chance of pulling themselves out of the relegation zone this season. Burnley won this fixture 2-1 at Kenilworth Road back in October, but they've won just 2 league games since then. They haven't built on that win at all. They're 7 games unbeaten against Luton, though. Did they beat them twice last season, or was it a win and a draw last season? Ben, can you remember?
Oh, God, I can't remember. No, but
Put you on
I'm
the
going to
spot
find
there.
out where
No.
you're talking. I remember Luton taking the lead at Turf Moor early in the season. But if you just talk 1 second longer, I will tell you, or will I? I'll tell you right now. They they drew 1-1. It was 6th of August though, so one of those games that you end up disregarding by the end of the
Yeah.
season. You say it's too long ago to judge.
Yeah, and Luton have won. Well, they won back-to-back league games over Christmas before losing against Chelsea. Although they came back pretty strongly in that game, didn't they? And they've looked the most capable pretty much all season of the bottom, the promoted teams. They've looked the most capable of getting out of it. A win would pull them out of the bottom 3 for a couple of days as well. A lot of people quite high on Luton at the moment, especially with Ross Barkley's return to form. Andros Townsend is looking pretty productive as well. But if you look at the stats, most of them suggest that the Hatters are currently exactly where they should be in the bottom 3. But there is that one outlier, Ben. They get 5 accurate crosses into the box per game on average, which is the 3rd best in the league. They know their strengths and they play to them. And I think that is probably why people can see a route out of this bottom 3 for Luton. Games between the promoted clubs this season have provided loads of goals. I'm going to predict a 2-2 draw in this one. And I think that would probably suit Luton more than Burnley, although both teams will be circling this one as a win, won't they?
They will. I was going to say Luton have probably had it circled for about 6 months, haven't they? I'd better go for the controversy then. And the biggest controversy I can see is an away win here because that will really, I don't know, is it final nail in coffin? It's probably too early in the season to say that. But you would then have Burnley 7 points behind Luton, and Everton have sort of improved as we said that they would ever since they got the points deduction. Let's back Luton then. Let's go Muggy. Let's go Burnley 0, Luton 1, and a set play. And I totally agree. At Kenilworth Road, I thought Ross Barkley was tremendous when I saw Luton. Local derby for you, Mikey, then. Chelsea versus Fulham. And we're into one of 2 games on Saturday in this not very big card.
Yeah, it's going to be all eyes on the Championship, isn't it, Ben? I'm working at this game for the Premier League. This is the early kickoff on Saturday. I'm working at this for Premier League Raw, which is giving the
like WWE
fans
Monday
around.
Night Raw.
Exactly like that, Ben. No, the idea of it is that it gives fans around the world an idea of what it was like to be at the game, um, with the raucous atmosphere of a derby. I'm not sure it's going to quite be that, Chelsea v Fulham, but you never know. This is probably the biggest game of the season for Fulham, isn't it? And that will definitely add something to the atmosphere. Chelsea had won 3 games in a row, all
Are they not in the
competitions.
League Cup semi-final tonight, Mikey?
Yeah, there is that as well. Um,
The biggest grudge
um,
match for Fulham.
yeah, yeah, good point. Chelsea have been in Carabao Cup action themselves. We know how that one went. They went and lost up at Middlesbrough, just as they were looking like they were building momentum. Again, they've fallen to another shock defeat. They continue to confuse. Difficult to understand their style of play. Since we last spoke, Ben, they've crept up to second in the much loved XG table, but having missed 40 big chances, they remain mid-table in the actual table. To put it bluntly, they lack discipline. They miss easy chances every game, and they concede far too many goals. You've mentioned the Carabao Cup. Fulham could be forgiven for being a little bit distracted with their Carabao Cup semi against Liverpool. I guess a lot of people that will be watching this will know the outcome of that one. I'm guessing Fulham will just try and stay alive in that one, won't they, at Anfield, and then give it a go in the second leg at the Cottage. Raul Jimenez has definitely recaptured his scoring touch. He's outscoring his XG, Ben, with all of his goals look the same. It's just first touch finishes in the box. He's very good at that. Chelsea haven't lost at home to Fulham, though, since 1979, Ben. And I don't think they're going to lose this one, especially with they desperately need to get back to winning ways after that loss against Middlesbrough in the Cup. And Fulham might have a little bit of a hangover from playing away at Liverpool. So I'm going to go for a 3-1 Chelsea win.
Yeah, just to completely pull back the curtain, we're recording on Wednesday morning. This will go out on Thursday. So Mikey's totally right. You know what happened to Fulham in the League Cup. We don't. Do you know what put me off when you said that 50 years or whatever without winning there? I was going to go for the Fulham win and the full controversy and EFL backing, but I'll come down the middle, Mike, and I will go for a draw.
I
Shall I
guess
go really boring?
if it's ever going to happen to Chelsea, it's going to be this season, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but maybe it's like Ipswich Norwich. Maybe it's just never going to happen. Let's go boring then. Chelsea 1, Fulham 1. Newcastle v Man City, Mikey, which probably 6 weeks ago we would have had down. Oh, a hard game for Man City here, but a bit less so now.
Yeah, well, this was actually the fixture that was scheduled for the Premier League Raw. I was actually supposed to be going up to Newcastle this weekend, but with Newcastle losing a few
He'll take that
games,
all day.
yeah, yeah, I'm absolutely devastated to be heading to Chelsea this weekend rather than Newcastle. So much has changed since we last did these Premier League predictions, Ben. It's been a few weeks, hasn't it, since we last spoke about the Premier League. But one thing that hasn't changed is the size of Newcastle's injury list. You can now add Joe Linton to it, which is a real blow ahead of the visit of the champions. That was the only downside for Newcastle's impressive 3-0 win at Sunderland in the FA Cup last weekend. Newcastle don't have a good record against City in the league, but they did beat them. They knocked them out of the Carabao Cup earlier this season. And as we know, they could be a match for anyone at home under Eddie Howe. They'll hope that impressive 3-0 win, as I mentioned, over Sun reignites their season after a pretty wretched festive period. Some people even beginning to question whether Eddie Howe is the man for the job, which seems
It's
absolutely
coming, isn't it? It's
ludicrous, doesn't it?
coming.
Yeah. Man City, meanwhile, champions of the world. They have Kevin De Bruyne back. He's had a bit of a glow up, Ben. He's
Oh,
got lovely hair now. They'll hope to have Erling Haaland back as well, at least from the bench, which makes them a completely different proposition. But we just don't know. We never know with Erling Haaland.
it's
Like
the two best
Pep
players.
Guardiola, it is the two best players, but Erling, we don't know when he's going to come back. That's the thing.
No.
Pep, it's such a weapon to him being able to say, oh, he might be available, because it completely changes how the opposition team prepares to play against them. Because Julian Alvarez, let's face it, World Cup winning striker, he's not the same. He's not the same type of player, is he, as Erling Haaland? City have a habit of conceding first in away games. They've done it 6 times out of the last 8 matches. They did win 2 of them. And Newcastle will obviously help that they'll hope that they can get in front and then defend their lead with the intensity that we've seen over and over again over the last couple of seasons with the crowd on their side. I don't really know why, Ben, but I'm going to go for a 2-1 Newcastle win.
I am going to give you a bonus point as well if that one comes in. So that one's worth 4 points for Mikey, which allows me to be utterly predictable. And I'll try and be less predictable. I won't go for like 2-0. I'll go for a really comfortable Man City win. Let's go Newcastle 0, Man City 3. And did you see that tweet? Apparently Julian Alvarez has like done the clean sweep of he's like won every honour that it's possible to win already. And he's like 22 or something. He's won the Champions League in here and in South America. Everything, basically. Look that up. Just really quickly, and it doesn't much pertain to the Premier League, but I must just give a little shout out for Match Bingo, which has just appeared over Mikey's head. This is my Bingals card, Mikey, and there are literally no Premier League teams on here. So it's not massively relevant, but if you click this wonderful QR code here, you can head over to Match Bingo. They'll know we sent you, Mikey. So this is completely free, and it's basically first goal in that game. I'm having a look here in terms of Championship. I've got Birmingham on there. Tony Mowbray, fast start there. That might be a good one for me. But yeah, it's quite heavily loaded with League One and League Two this week. But it's free, for God's sake. So head over to Bingals and play. And of course, like I said, if you pause this video right now, your phone will recognize that QR code and they will know we sent you. We had a £1,000 winner, Paul, who watches the channel. Unfortunately, won on a draw between Ipswich and Norwich, the mega pot there. But let's move on. A big thank you to Match Bingo to a classic fixture. This Everton versus Aston Villa.
Couple of grand old clubs, Ben.
The Andy Gray derby.
Andy Gray derby, very nice. A clash between two teams as well who are absolutely flying in early December before a couple of disappointing results around Christmas. Everton have actually lost their last 3 league games and could be back in the bottom 3 when this one kicks off if Luton beat Burnley in the Friday night game, which would add...
Which I predicted is going to happen.
Which you predicted. Sean Dyche will be sweating on the fitness of Abdoulaye Doucouré as well, who's such an important player for them, Ben. Not only is he the top goal scorer, but he's just crucial in that engine room in midfield. He basically
passes, Mikey, my Mrs. Layman's eye test. If she watched Doucouré, she'd go, "Who's that massive bloke covering ground left, right, and centre in midfield?" Continue.
He does it all, doesn't he? He does it all. Villa can go level on points with Liverpool, though, with a win at Goodison, which they've managed on their last 3 visits. In fact, they've won each of their last 5 games against Everton, including a crushing 4-0 win earlier this season at Villa Park. Unai Emery will hope to have Pau Torres back in defence. He's been a key player for them this season. He's been missing for the last couple of games. One little stat that jumped out at me is tackle success. Everton are ranked 4th in the league for this metric, with Villa way down in 19th. Although Manchester City are down in 20th and they don't seem to be doing too badly off it. It's the style of play thing, isn't it? However, maybe Sean Dyche's side can physically make life difficult for Villa in this game, get the crowd on side. I think they can. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Everton win. Villa just not quite the same team away from home.
I swear your preamble here is just to confuse me rather than to elucidate our watchers. I've done quite well predicting Villa wins on this, haven't I? So, but you put me off doing that now. No, I'm not going to have your mind games. I'm still going to predict the Villa win, Mikey. But let's go tight. Let's go Everton 0, Aston Villa 1. And, this one will be interesting. Wow, Manchester United versus Tottenham. Good luck.
Yeah, 2 of the best supported clubs down in my neck of the woods on the Hampshire-Surrey border, Ben. There are 8 points between them at this stage. And if you're looking at it and thinking Spurs are the better side, but Manchester United are at home, I'm going to go for a draw. Think again, Ben, because none of the last 17 league matches between these two sides at Old Trafford have ended in a draw. 17. None of them have ended in stalemate at Old Trafford. Man United have won most of those. Both teams have had huge problems with injuries this season. They have got that in common. Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw should be back for United this weekend, which will help out at the back, but it's at the attacking end where they've struggled most. They're barely averaging more than a goal per game, and their XG is only the 11th best in the league. If they're to make a success out of the second half of the season, they surely need Marcus Rashford or Rasmus Højlund to start finding their shooting boots, don't they? Spurs have had availability issues since early October. Since that Chelsea game, it just completely derailed their season, didn't it? Now they're without Son Heung-min, they're without Pape Sarr, Yves Bissouma, all away on international duty. The good news is, though, they do have Mickey van der Ven back at centre-back. He was an absolute beast in the first few weeks of the season, wasn't he, for Spurs? And maybe Ange Postecoglou can find something in new loan signing Timo Werner. It didn't work out for him, really, at Chelsea, but maybe in Ange Postecoglou's system, he could be a dangerous player. I'd be going for Spurs if Son was available, but as he's not, I don't do this very often, but I'm going to go for a Manchester United win in this one. Another narrow 2-1 win.
You not only have you picked my outcome, you've picked my logic as well. No Son, no party for me at all. I think we're duty bound. I have to say Gary Lineker and Pedro Mendes when we talk about Manchester United playing Spurs, don't we? Okay, well, I want a bonus point. So I'm going to go for a ridiculously high scoreline then, being as you've stolen my logic and my prediction. Let's go Man United 4, Spurs 2. So I will, if you're happy, I'll cash in a bonus point on that for 6 points and a 4-pointer. We're going to start afresh here with the scores. So we'll update you on the scores next time. Nothing to do with a lack of preparation on mine or Mikey's part whatsoever. Please do, though, get involved with your predictions in the comments. We will be here every week doing the Premier League predictions, and it will be an abridged show again next week, and then we'll properly get into it at the end of the month when the Premier League they've had their rest and everything's kicked back in. Last word from you, Mikey.
Yeah, like I said, there's not many games this weekend in the Premier League, but they are interesting matches wherever you look, aren't they? Aston Villa, if they win at Everton, I guess you've got to say they're in this title race, aren't they? And then there's the huge game. It's probably the biggest game is the one between Burnley and Luton. If that one does end in a draw, like I've got it, I think both of them might be maybe not doomed for Luton, but struggling to keep pace.
Now, you might see a YouTuber with millions of subscribers and views a week driving a Bentley. It's a bit more modest, I have to say, when you're covering the Championship. So if you can find a few quid each month to support over on Patreon or by hitting the join button here, you are making the world of difference for myself, Shaylee and Enid.